Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
So we were just talking a moment ago about our weekend, and to be honest with you, I didn't watch that much college football, OB. I wanted to. I really wanted to. This morning I spent time on YouTube trying to watch highlights, but it's not the same thing. Freaking YouTube TV.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated with that because I did not have the weekend I anticipated having
Now,
for a variety of reasons.
I know there's other ways to consume college football, not just but like just the way my life works with very busy kids around. Like this weekend, I was in Dallas on Saturday for soccer. I was in Houston all day Sunday for soccer. And I'm not saying cry me a river, but typically what I do is I watch games on my phone, right? That's how I keep up with it so I can still be an active parent, you know, somewhat active on your phone. But I try to be at every event I can be at, and I watch games, and I couldn't do that this weekend. So, you know, I had to watch highlights of the Texas Vandy game. I had to watch highlights of Penn State, Ohio State. It's not the same thing as actually consuming it as it's happened, because I think you can attach yourself to an emotion on that play as it's happening in real time.
Well, one of the great things about football and what makes it a great TV sport is you have that little time between plays where you can discuss with whoever you're watching what they should do next, and you know, do your own strategy and what are they going to. And you have a little bit of drama that you're involved in.
Yep.
And I have YouTube TV as well, and quite frankly, they need to get that thing figured out by this weekend or next weekend.
Well, I read that it may not get figured out because what ESPN...
Then I'm going to have to go to another provider.
ESPN may be doing that to everybody, basically, because what they're trying to do is force you to get their new app, is what I read online. I don't know what's true. But they want people to go start getting their new app where you can watch all their sports on there as opposed to relying on your cable service or your internet provider. And whatever. Like, I'm going to watch college football because that's what we have to, right?
We have to. It's our job.
It's our gig. But one of the things I love about YouTube TV is the fact that you can DVR as many things as you want, for years, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you don't watch a game live, you can go back to that game. Like, so why would I record Texas Tech versus Kansas State? Why? Like, I probably wouldn't if I had a limited DVR, but YouTube TV allows you to DVR, so you can go back and watch certain plays.
I think for a lot of people that if ESPN does that, I mean, a lot of people hate ESPN anyway.
Yeah.
And that'll be just one more reason to hate them. And you're going to go back to those days of when I was growing up and there was like one or two games a week on TV. And I'm not saying that's what will happen. I'm saying is you're going to watch the games, not you, but some people watch the games that they get.
And that's it.
And they'll be looking for the highlights on the other ones, which is back in the day, you had your one or two games on, and then you watch Dave Dials with the Prudential College scoreboard. And that's sad. But, you know, if that's where it goes, that's where it goes. We have to have it. I mean, part of our job is to cover like A&M basketball.
Right.
When they're on the road, we do it from the television. Well, can't do it from the television if the game's not televised.
So I have the ESPN app. I guess I probably could have watched it on my phone now that I think about it out loud. I don't know how it works, but there's certain games I couldn't watch. But I do have the ESPN Plus app. I didn't think about that. So I should be able to watch the Ags when they're on the road under this. I think I should be able to.
I'm terrible about stuff like that, so I'll figure out what to do with it.
There's just too many options.
But what it'll be for me is it'll be, if TexAgs doesn't cover it, it'll be it'll be a income tax deduction
Right.
or a business expense.
Remember back in the day, OB, and this is well before Ella and Nick were even around, we used to have 31 channels, okay? I'm talking about after your generation. I'm talking about like my youth,
Yeah.
okay? 31
Because
channels.
we had 4.
And the remote was like far away, and you had to go to it to change the channel because it was like, you know what I'm talking about or no? And you'd have to like push a little button down.
No, I
and
never
then
had that.
Oh, I had that, yeah.
But I was the remote at one time. You know,
You have to go
Dad would say, go change the channel.
Yeah.
I'd go up and change the channel.
So if you're in Houston, there's a possibility you saw me last night on Channel 11's. They have a sports show on Sunday nights with Jason
Yeah.
Bristol. Nice guy. Which is weird for me. I was a Channel 13 guy for a decade. To go to the competitor to do a hit on about the Aggies, but I gladly did it. And they sent me a list of questions they wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to ask OB these questions because to me, these are easy questions to answer, but I think it could make for a good conversation on the show.
All right.
All right. The first question that they asked me was, with A&M being undefeated, is there any boxes that the team hasn't checked in terms of having to prove anything? You want me to tell you what I said?
Yeah, what did you say?
I said penalties. Like they've got to fix that. I know that they've had some games where they fixed it, but inopportune times, penalties, double digits against LSU in penalties, and a huge one on a 3rd and 18. That's kind of been, I think, their biggest problem has been some of the penalties and also not putting together 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2. And then if I would have given a third, I didn't. Hitting field goals from 40 yards plus. Those would be the 3 areas.
Yeah, one thing about A&M that goes counterproductive, maybe that's not the right word, counter to what typically is synonymous with a really good team, is they're, what would you say, in the red, below sea level on turnover margin.
Right.
Now, typically, teams that are really good typically force turnovers, and A&M doesn't force a lot. I think they have 6, 2 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries.
That's exactly right, yeah.
And I think they've committed 7. So hopefully, I mean, we're 8 games in, so you don't figure guys are suddenly going to become ball hawks. But maybe you can have some games where they'll come to you in bunches.
Okay. Here's one that I was asked, and I kind of chuckled at the question, but I understand where it's coming from. Let's see, is there any trepidation about the Aggies looking ahead to the Texas game, or the fact that Texas may have figured out some of its offensive problems?
No, I think that this team, Mike Elko's talked about it, is very mature in its approach. I think we've seen that, and at least I'd hope so. I think their entire focus is on Missouri, and then as far as Texas, Texas had a really good game against Vanderbilt. They did, give them credit. But you're going to have to win at Georgia before I believe that you figured everything out, because I don't know if a good game against Vandy absolutely absolves you for the terrible ways you looked in several other games.
Sure.
So, A&M looked great against LSU in 21. Right, but that didn't make them a good team.
Right.
So not saying they're not, but I'm just saying I still got to see more. And secondly, I would hope the Aggies are more focused on, and I'm talking about Aggies everywhere, not just the team, on what this team does week to week and not caring about Texas.
Well, what I told him was if the Aggies are worried about Texas, they're going to have 2 or 3 losses or 2 losses that they shouldn't have. Like, they better be focused completely on Missouri, and I think they are. And it goes, honestly, if you listen to anything that Coach Elko has said since the end of last year, it's about finishing. Mm-hmm. Well, you've got to finish the game in front of you. You got to finish the quarter, the game, and then we'll get to the next one. So to me, finish Missouri first before you start thinking about South Carolina. Finish South Carolina before Samford, then you worry about Texas.
Yeah, so I wonder if anybody, if they ever had somebody from Texas on, like a Texas media guy that covers Longhorns, if they'd say, hey, are you guys, you think the Longhorns may be looking past Georgia at A&M?
For A&M, yeah.
Just a thought.
Here's another question. Should there be more Marcel Reed for Heisman talk?
Well, yeah, and I think that there is. I mean, I think...
I don't know if there more is the right... I think there's the appropriate amount of talk right now. Don't you think?
I think that I was looking on the internet last week and different different national podcasts, and I saw more than a few that say Marcel should be in the lead.
Yep, I've seen that. Coach Saban talked about him this weekend, I believe, or on Thursday with Pat McAfee. He's in the top 4 odds, I believe, if you look at what Vegas is saying. So I think this is the appropriate amount of talk. And if they get to 11-1, 12-0, 10-2, I said that last night. If he's 10-2, he could. He possibly could. But at this point, it would feel like a collapse going 10-2 at this point.
Yeah. Look, Marcel. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. If Marcel can win it, if he plays the next 4 games like he's played the last 2, with the exception of taking out an interception. He had 2 interceptions at LSU. One was a bad read by him, so it's on him completely. The other one was a really good play by the LSU guy. And sometimes the other guys are going to make plays. But I think Marcel is, again, I think it looks to me like he's running more frequently. And I think that's something that makes him more dangerous.
Yeah. I really feel it would be amazing for the world, that stage, the Heisman stage, to see Marcel Reed speak. Like, to me, like, what we get to see on a weekly basis, and those who catch his interviews, I know he was with, who was he with? Kirk Herbstreit the other day. He's done a bunch of meetings recently. He was with Billy the other day. For the world to see this young man, the way he speaks, the way he loves this university, the way he kind of is slow to respond, he really is thoughtful with his answers. I just think he'd be a great ambassador on that world stage.
Well, he is, but, that's not going to factor in.
No. I'm just saying, for me, selfishly, I would like for people to see that.
I mean, he's a great kid, and he's an easy guy to root for, even if you have nothing to do with A&M.
Yeah. The other thing they asked me is what the expectations are for Bucky ball, and I was like, I don't know if expectations are the right word. I'm excited about the brand of basketball there's going to be. I think they're going to be a team that may struggle a little bit in the beginning of SEC play as they figure out their identity. Right? But I think by the end of the year, you're going to see a team, and you're going to see a team that scores a lot of points. Right? That I believe you're going to see, and they're going to be a different brand of basketball.
I do expect to see a more fun brand of basketball. I do expect them to see them get off to a fast start. Frankly, they don't have some of the toughest schedule. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I said it before. If they can even be in the discussion come March. I'm not even saying in the tournament. I'm saying if you can be in the discussion, well, A&M's on the bubble, then I think he will have done an amazing job in his first year. And anything more than that is, just raise him up even more. I'll say this. I am already impressed with him and behind him and all those things because I went to the volleyball game Friday and I saw Bucky there.
Oh, yeah. How about that, man?
And Elko, too, but I saw Bucky there, and the reason how come he's just replacing the guy that wouldn't go to church because he didn't want fans actually talking to him. Wouldn't go out to eat because he didn't want fans to have the nerve to come up and say, "Hey, Coach, how's it going?" And then you see Bucky McMillan, he's out there and he's he's visible and he's talking to people.
He's the Olin Buchanan of basketball. He talks to everybody.
Okay.
You do. You're great at that.
I'll talk to anybody who wants to talk to me. There's a lot fewer that want to talk to me than want to talk to Bucky McMillan.
Well, this is true.
But anyway, so I really like that about him. I like that he's visible and supportive of the other programs and just shows up to talk to people, even if they just want to say hi. It's okay.
Right. Yeah. By the way, this is TexAgs Live.
Yeah.
Thank you for agreeing.
Brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers.
That is true.
They're putting a new facelift on their building. I saw it yesterday.
They're gem of humans.
They are.
OB. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. They're also great.
Yeah, Jason Jackson and the boys.
Yeah. And this hour has a name. We call it the Go Hour, presented by the
warehouse at CC Creations.
That's correct. This usually we're sitting over there.
It travels. The cool zone travels.
It does travel.
Cool
but that's the cool zone. But the view of the cool zone goes all over the place.
We're the mobile cool zone today. We came all the way about 20 feet this way.
Yeah, but we got to call it the holistic planning.
The holistic planning cool zone.
If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, you can call us. We'd love to talk to you. We are talkers of humans. 979-693-1150.
McMillan.
We call that the what?
Well, not Bucky McMillan. We call that the Buppies, not Bucky. Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline.
Do you think if Buppy and Bucky did a free throw contest, Buppy would have a chance to win over Bucky?
No. No, I think Bucky would win. But if they had a cook-off, I'm putting my money on Bucky.
I am too. Let's go around the room and say hi to the humans. Behind the glass is Nick Savage. He's our director. He's our good friend. Hello, Nick.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm going to bring our conversation we had off air on air with the playoff rankings coming out for the first time. And again, it doesn't matter until the very last one. But to me, there's a very good argument to make. Do I think this is going to happen? Probably not. But to me, there's a good argument to put A&M number one. I could totally see it happening. It wouldn't surprise me if A&M pops up number one. But I kind of agree with what you said, Obi. I think that's going to be the direction that they go. Indiana 1, A&M 2, Ohio State 3. But just y'all's thoughts on the first playoff ranking coming out tomorrow night.
Yeah, look, Indiana's resume, you got to look at it and with the split hairs and things like that. Indiana has beaten a 7-1 Oregon that's ranked higher than a 6-2 Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And then you say, yeah, but what's the next? Okay, A&M beat LSU, who's now not ranked, but they were 20th when they played. But Indiana will say, well, they beat Penn State, which is now not ranked, but was whatever. Of course, now Penn State has a losing record. Right. LSU doesn't. So I feel like that they're probably going to go Indiana 1, and then A&M 2, and then Ohio State 3. Ohio State's best win is over Texas, which is now 13. But A&M's best, and that was at home. Yep. And A&M's best win was on the road against Notre Dame, which is 10. So I think that's the objective way to look at it.
Yeah. I'm going to bring this up. I was going to bring it up with Billy, and I probably still will, but I want to bring it up to you because I've seen a lot of people talk about A&M's resume online, and it got me thinking. So what do you say to those who say A&M, yeah, they got the Notre Dame win, but let's talk about their wins in the SEC. The teams that they have beat in the SEC are combined 6-20. Okay. And you compare that to what some of the other top SEC teams have done. Bama's combined record of the teams they've beaten is 14-14. Okay. Ole Miss, they have a loss, by the way, to Georgia, but they're 12-22.
Okay. Well, once again, I'm going to say give me a. Okay, well, you said Alabama, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Which, by the way,
they've beaten some good teams.
They have. I'm calling up Alabama's. All right. Okay.
Vandy and Georgia, good wins.
They won a closer than it looks game over Tennessee. They did. I mean, it was a 99-yard interception return, and give them credit for making that 99. Yeah. But that's how close that Tennessee game could have been. And you're saying, okay, so you beat Tennessee. Well, A&M just destroyed Mississippi State. That went into overtime. Yeah. Now they lost, but they went into overtime with Tennessee. And so I look at things and say, you beat Georgia, right? Georgia this weekend escaped Florida. In fact, Florida has the ball 4th and 1 at the Georgia 18 and goes for it and gets stopped. And this is probably midway through the fourth quarter with a 3-point lead. What I don't understand is when you got a really good kicker like Florida does, why don't you kick the field goal and you got a 6-point lead? You say, yeah, but they may come down there and score on you. And say, okay, so you don't have any faith in your defense. But even if they do, you've got a really good kicker. So if you can get the ball on the next time, on your next series, just get to the 40.
And you can win the game.
And you can win the game. Yeah. So I didn't understand why they didn't do that, but okay. Oh, look, because they needed a yard to probably put it away. The point I'm making is it appears to me that Georgia, that the team that Alabama barely beat, is about even to Florida, the team that A&M destroyed. So I would ask you, well, so you're saying that if A&M played Tennessee, you would take Tennessee? Or if you're saying if A&M played Vanderbilt, you would take Vandy? No. Maybe you would. Maybe some. Alabama won let's face it, they lucked out against South Carolina.
They did.
So
I'm worried about South Carolina.
So, but you're saying, so if South Carolina and A&M play, you're taking South Carolina? And I would say no.
I'm taking A&M, but I am worried.
I would take A&M against Georgia. And I don't think that's – people say, yeah, well, because you're a homer and that's – no, I've watched the games. I think A&M looks like the better team.
I agree. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I think we're going to talk some volleyball.
We are going to talk some
with
volleyball.
Miss Ella Ryan. Hello.
Hi, David. Hey, Opie. How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good? Yeah, so basically last Friday, the Aggies had a Halloween long store showdown where they took down the number 2 Texas Longhorns 3-2. This was TU's first loss of the season, and it was also the Aggies' highest-ranked home win in program history. And then on Sunday, they traveled and played the number 16 Tennessee Volunteers, where they won 3-1, and that was their 7th straight win of the season.
Obi, you were at that Texas game for a bit. What a great environment, huh?
It was. It was a lot of fun. It was crazy. The kids were all dressed up in their costumes. Some old people were too. And it was just a party atmosphere. Of course, anytime A&M plays Texas, people get excited about it, but it was just such a competitive game, so exciting. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay for the 5th set. And so I was very disappointed about that. But my wife had fallen down at work and had hurt her back. And she tried to tough it out. She made it through first 4 sets, and she said, I got to go. And so we had to go home. So I missed that. But I went straight to TexAgs to look for some highlights and things like that, and saw that kill to win the game.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Yep. Anything else, Miss Ella?
The men's basketball team opened their season tonight at 7 p.m. in Reed Arena against Northwestern State. And I also saw a funny comment that said Andy Garcia and Wade Taylor on the same G League team.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Huh. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Do we know what G League team that is?
I do not, but I can find out.
She'll find out for us. So, OB, predict how many points A&M will score tonight. 91. I don't know.
Okay.
I predicted for you.
I would 80.
Okay. Give me 91.
Okay.
Game 1. That's what I want.
Go for 100. Yeah.
Okay, fine. 150.
I don't think that's.
I don't think so.
Even though Luke, who has a tendency to get, let's say, overexcited about basketball. I think one time he made a comment that he thought that there could be that they could score 150 points in a game. I'm like,
come on, Luke.
Remember,
Auburn's the greatest basketball team ever to play. They didn't win the national championship, but they were the greatest basketball team ever to play. Remember last year, that was his thing. And to his credit,
they were really good.
To his credit, at that time, they had all these metrics, but I still think Larry Johnson and UNLV would have run them out.
Well, I think what's Luke is probably afflicted with the same disease that a lot of young people have, and that
now.
Yeah, because if it didn't happen, if it happened before they started paying attention, they don't think it matters.
Yeah. By the way,
it didn't happen.
Right now on this show, Bucky McMillan will be on this show, not right now, but later on this show, 10:35 a.m. for his weekly hit on the show starting now.
All right.
Looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it too.
If they score 100, this is the deal we're going to make with Bucky. We're going to offer to take him to 1775.
Well, he would definitely deserve it.
And you would get the order for him. That's the rules.
Well, if I was ordering for Bucky, I would just get the sampler.
Yeah.
Because, 100 points, I just already talked about what a good guy he is. So he deserves the succulent brisket and that amazing jalapeno cheese sausage.
100 grams of protein for 100 points. Per person.
And some of those pork ribs that I like so much, and the turkey. He's a pretty thin guy. He might like the turkey.
Yeah.
And then, of course, queso mac and cheese. And, being from Alabama, he probably into the pulled pork, and so they can do that too.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's hey, Bucky, if you're listening right now, we got you. You guys score 100, we'll take you to 1775. We'll put it on Olin's credit card. What you need to do is check out the website, 1775txbbq.com, or call them up, 979-492-6241. It is 1775.
And it's good.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning. But they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to holistic planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love holistic planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer. It's weird. When I look at Nick Saban today, I have a lot more admiration than I did when he was the coach at Alabama. I know it's only a little bit more than a year removed from it, but it's kind of like the Kobe vibes that I had. Like when Kobe was playing for the Mavs, he was a thorn in the Rockets and the Mavericks side and everybody's side, right? He was great, and I didn't appreciate him during because he was
Yeah.
The guy that our team was going against.
Same way with Bird.
Right, yeah. And then afterwards, you look at Bird, you're like, I love this guy, right?
It was amazing.
Yeah. And that's how I am with Nick. Of course, I recognize his greatness, but he was part of the reason A&M struggled, right? Like, he was the dominance that he had. A&M got in front of their own ways and many times too. But now that I go back and listen to some of his coaching and his statements and some of the, his principles just resonate with me. And when I hear him talk good about A&M, I don't know how to feel. Like, it's Nick Saban who went after Jimbo and A&M a couple years ago. He was more going after NIL, but regardless.
He's going after money is what he was going after.
Yeah, of course. And it was a little bit, I still feel the same way. Like, I actually am still proud of the way Jimbo handled it, even though it was not the right way, but I got it, because I got a temper like that too. So this, he was on the McAfee show, and I told you he was speaking very high about A&M. I'm going to just read you the quote.
All right, read it.
I would say that the two top teams at this point in the season that have separated themselves from the pack to me is Ohio State and Texas A&M. Marcel Reed has been a big part of that, and I think this guy has special talents, man. He's an improved passer. He's got better receivers, better skill guys to play with him outside, and he can beat you with his feet.
The only question I would have to that, because I agree with everything he just said, is why don't you not think Indiana has separated itself?
Yeah.
Because I think most people look at it and say, the top three teams are Ohio State, Indiana, and A&M.
I'm a believer in Indiana.
I am too. And I don't think, I'm a believer in Ohio State, but I would look at it and I say, now who has Ohio State beat? All right, Texas, who nobody really took that seriously until last week.
Right.
And you've got, Wisconsin. They've played a pretty weak schedule.
Yeah.
Grambling, Ohio, they just haven't played that strong a schedule. But, they are the defending national champs, and they do have guys like Jeremiah Smith out there, and their quarterback's playing well. So I know they're good, but again, that's why I think they'll be ranked third tomorrow.
Yeah, but is it weird to hear praise for A&M? You know what? Nick Saban was famous for talking about rat poison.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening across the street, like how much content they consume, what people are saying about them. I don't know if they're, cutting out their press clippings, for lack of a better term, in today's technology. But I typically, when I hear praise for A&M, I feel like something bad's going to happen. Right?
Yeah, I understand.
Even though I don't feel that way, I feel like A&M's going to go to Missouri this weekend and handle business.
I expect A&M to win that game unless A&M gives it away.
Yeah.
You may not have another second quarter like you had against LSU and survive it, right? So I think if A&M goes and takes care of the football and plays well, then A&M's going to beat everybody.
That's how I feel about them.
But you've seen, here's the deal. Yeah, they're such a good team. But we've seen like that second quarter against LSU. We've seen the penalty, the pandemic of penalties that kept Auburn in the game, right? We've seen this meltdown, the defensive meltdown against Arkansas, right? So, but of course, we've seen them overcome all that.
Yeah, we have.
And that's as much as anything why to feel good about them. I've heard people say, hey, look, this is a resilient team. Not only are they talented, but they're resilient. We've seen talented teams here before that were not resilient at all.
Right.
When something bad would go against them, they would crumble. Well, this team doesn't. This team rises up. But you would like to see them not have to rise up. You'd like to see them go out there and look like the number 3 team for 4 quarters and just dominate a game and have it in their back pocket before the 4th quarter starts.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. I want to talk Missouri on the other side, OB.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to ask you, and the audience can play a part in this, who's got the best win in college football this year? Okay?
Okay.
And when I say that, if your season goes off a cliff after a big win, doesn't necessarily mean that win has the same merit. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Because Florida State, you could say, had the best win, but their season went off a cliff. So
right.
I want us to consider that on the other side. You know what I'm wearing right now, OB?
Duck camp.
But what am I wearing?
It's a duck camp jacket.
It's a shacket.
I got one too.
Do you have a shacket?
Well, I don't know if that's going to call it that, but
that's what it's called.
Okay.
That's the actual term.
All right.
It's a shirt jacket. I'm assuming Ellie, you would know. Like that's why they call it shacket, right?
Yeah.
I just guessed.
It's also like shoody.
There's a
What?
shoody too.
A shirt hoodie.
Oh.
I have some shoodies. I call them the bellies, the Belichicks. But I like this. Let me.
I do too.
Can I show you?
Yeah.
You're not interested.
No, I am.
Okay. Very warm inside.
Uh-huh.
Thick. I can wear it like a vato, which I'm allowed to, or I can wear it. I can clip it up right here.
You called it a what?
A vato. Hey Holmes.
Hey, Holmes.
You want to go duck camping? Let's go, bro.
See, let's go.
Body's decomposing in my locker. Anyway, you can do that. You can go hunting in it. You can go to work. I think it's kind of stylish.
I might wear mine tonight at the basketball game.
You should.
Probably.
Or you can wear it tomorrow, and then we have back-to-back days of shacketing on the show.
They also gave me a real nice like flannel shirt. You probably got it too.
I didn't get the flannel shirt. I didn't order that one. But they have the essential hoodie, the lightweight brush shirt. They got it all. Hats. Their hats are amazing.
I like the hat.
Yeah. Check it out. Duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors, designed for everything else. By the way, they have a discount for TexAgs listeners and subscribers. TexAgs 25, 25% off your order.
Oh, that's
Shack
nice.
it up.
Christmas coming up?
Yeah. You better jump on it. I don't know how long it's going to last. Could be a day, could be a year. I don't know.
Oh.
I just know it's 25% off.
It's a good deal.
Duckcamp.com. Check it out. Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports. And they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned. And that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs. And remember, gig 'em. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. A question was asked by, is it Harold?
By Harold, correct, in the YouTube chats. He said, what do the two of you think about the Ags going after a bye week? Better health, but what are the downsides?
Well, Missouri's in a bye week too.
Yeah.
It may actually be an advantage for Missouri, who's got a quarterback making his first start, to have a little extra time to digest what is being expected of him. He looked good in limited time last week.
Yeah. Who knows? If A&M goes out and doesn't play well, but bye week didn't help them. It hurt them. If they go out and take care of business, that bye week helped them like that. I think the only real concern I would have, and I don't even think it's legitimate, is that you were playing so well that you don't want to break when when things are rolling. But that said, you had a very emotional win at LSU, just like you had a very emotional win at Notre Dame.
Right.
And sometimes you hear people talk, you can have a hangover after a loss. Sometimes you can have a hangover after a win, especially a big emotional one like that. So maybe, at least in my opinion, it should help you that, hey, you were able to celebrate this win all out, but you had plenty of time to reset for what's the next task at hand.
I want to talk Missouri for a second, and it'll be very interesting how the rest of their season plays out, because you know who they remind me of?
Who's that? Texas A&M last year?
Any year for Texas A&M the last 4 years, right?
The thing that's really interesting about this game going to Missouri is it's the A&M Missouri game last year with the roles reversed.
Correct. Yeah, the roles. Although Connor got the start last year,
right?
But yes, I know what you mean. But also just A&M any year, right? Like I've said this on this show many times. I don't care if you're Alabama. I don't care if you're Georgia. If you're on your second and third string quarterback, it is hard to win in the SEC, and that's why sometimes I give a little more empathy towards the prior coaching staff. They made a lot of mistakes, but I still think it's very hard to win on your second and third string quarterback. Matt Zollers, you know who he basically is? He's basically Brady Hart for A&M.
Okay.
He's an 18-year-old freshman, maybe 17. I think he's 18. And he's making his first start. Now, he's third on the depth chart. A&M obviously has a different depth chart. But that being said, he's a guy with a lot of praise. Brady Hart also graduated early. There's that too.
Yeah, he came in that game against Vanderbilt. He was 14 of 23 for 138 yards and a touchdown.
He looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good. But he is their third string quarterback trying to go.
Because one other guy got hurt earlier.
Correct, right?
Yeah, he's a true freshman, as you mentioned.
So to me, it's very reminiscent of what A&M has had to go through in years past. Maybe not always such a young quarterback getting a start, but Connor was a freshman starting in the Ole Miss game back in 22. Was it 22?
Was it 22?
22, yeah. So, the thing that I quote-unquote worry about is there's not a lot of film on this kid. We don't know. He was a highly decorated quarterback in high school. I think he was a 4-star. They love him. They think he's got a great arm. They said Eli Drinkowitz said the moment's not too big for him.
Okay.
Those are all interesting things.
All the same things people were saying about Marcel before the Florida game last year.
Right, exactly. And what did Marcel do?
He went out and played great.
He played fantastic. So that's the part that I worry about. But if A&M is potentially the first, second, third team in the playoff rankings, they take care of business against a 18-year-old quarterback.
You would think so.
As long as they don't
give it away, right? Yeah. You would think so. And look, kid played well. Look, there's a difference. And I think there's a big difference between the defense he faces at Vanderbilt and the defense he faces against A&M. Plus, when he came into that game against Vanderbilt, he did better than I thought he would. Okay, so give him complete credit for all that. But Vanderbilt didn't prepare for him either.
Right.
And, A&M's going to have 2 weeks to find out everything they can about this kid. Plus, look, I'm sure Elko's going to come up with some schemes and some looks to confusing. And, we'll see. I still think the key to beating Missouri is to keep Ahmad Hardy in check.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
If you do that, then I'll take my chances with the freshman quarterback.
I agree with that. I think and Ahmad Hardy, I think he's very close to 1,000 yards rushing.
He is, but he's been held under 100 yards rushing in each of the last 3 games. He had 11 for 61 and a touchdown against Alabama. He was 24 of 58, but scored 2 touchdowns against Auburn. And then against Vanderbilt, he had 20 carries for 97 yards.
Where do you, from those 3 defenses, where do you put A&M's ability to stop the run compared to those 3?
Well, I think A&M's defensively compares very well with Auburn.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to hold him to 58 yards, but if they do, they're probably going to win.
Yeah.
Unlike Auburn. Auburn could have beat them.
Let's talk a little bit about that question I asked you in the next side, all right? Who's got the best win in college football?
Probably Alabama beating Georgia on the road.
Okay, but hold that for the next segment. Let's do that. We'll do that, and we'll investigate some of the other ones as well. Right now, if you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment. And what really sets them apart is the over 9 CFPs, the CFA, and the CPA all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel really good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call, 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. That is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Best win in college football, OB, here on the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations?
Probably Alabama beating Georgia. Georgia's still ranked number 5, and Alabama needed a win because they already had that loss to Florida State. Now, Louisville beating Miami at the time
seemed
was
like
huge. But I think I would say Alabama over Georgia. Who would you say?
I might say Indiana's win at Oregon.
Okay.
I might say that. I'd like to say, I'm not there yet, that the A&M win over Notre Dame win eventually will be looked upon as one of the best wins in the, it already is one of the best games this season, if not the best game, but I'd like to say that, but I still think Indiana over Oregon. I definitely see an argument for Bama at Georgia.
I think it was just but because Alabama had that loss that made it even that much more important.
Any chance that the Ohio State win over Texas at some point will look back as the best win of the season? If Texas goes on a run?
Yeah, I mean, if they keep winning, but you beat a team that lost to Florida.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the A&M win over LSU is the best win, but the ripple effects of that win and the way they did it, I don't think they fire Brian Kelly if they just lose 24-20.
You're probably right. Yeah, I agree with that. They probably
it's the third quarter.
He's on the hottest of hot seats, and they're waiting for the end of the year to fire him if they don't go 9-3 at least.
Yeah,
and May would have fired him at 9-3. But yeah, I think the way they lost, just the beat down and the embarrassment, they couldn't handle the embarrassment.
And who's the biggest fraud in college football right now? This week? How about this week?
The biggest fraud? That's a heck of a question.
Well, we can kind of say the guy you mentioned to me during the break.
Miami?
Mario Cristobal.
I don't know if they're the biggest fraud. I'm looking at the I do wonder about the team that I think that I still don't believe in is Oklahoma at number 11.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to lose at Tennessee, and Tennessee had a chance to put that game away in the first half and didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so give them credit for winning that, but Tennessee's not a good defensive team. But I don't think Oklahoma's a good offensive team, so I'm surprised that they pulled it off. But I'm still not buying. I'm still not buying Oklahoma. But you're probably right on Miami. I mean, there were people pumping them up and saying they should be number 1, and they were.
Well, they give you reasons to believe that, don't they? They give you reasons. Yeah. They beat Notre Dame week 1. They start, destroying teams. They make you feel that they are that team, but then they have multiple clunkers each year.
No, and here's another team that I just don't buy at all. Well, that's ranked is Michigan. They're 21. That tells me that there's a lot of bad football teams.
Well, there's a lot of talk about the SEC being so down this year. And I'm like, guys, what was the SEC's record against the Big Ten or all the other conferences to start the year?
Right. I mean, Arizona State, now their quarterback got hurt, but they're still in it, I think, in the Big 12. They lost to Mississippi State.
Right. Ohio State beat Texas. Is that the only win that the Big Ten had over the SEC? Can you check real quick? Try to do a quick Google search. I'm pretty sure the SEC is like, I don't know, in the non-conference was like 6-2 versus other conferences, something like that. What has happened to the SEC is these teams are playing each other.
Yeah, I mean, LSU beat Clemson, no big deal. Who Georgia beat in non-conference? They hadn't played anybody, but they got Georgia Tech coming up. Ole Miss in non-conference, I know they beat Tulane and Washington State, so that's no big deal.
A&M's got the Notre Dame victory. Like, what the SEC did...
Oklahoma beat Michigan.
Yeah, so, again, the SEC is beating each other up, and because of that, they may be battered and bruised when it gets to the playoffs, but they're not. It's not a bad... I still maintain if you put Florida in a different conference, they're running away with it.
Well, Florida's that close to... I mean, they barely lost to Georgia. They, of course, now they barely beat Mississippi State, but they've had a couple of other games that they've been very competitive in.
Yeah. All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with Marty Smith here on TexAgs Live. By the way, according to this, through as mid-October, the SEC is 7-5 versus the Big Ten's 2-2 and other conferences. So that tells you.
Okay.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with more. It is TexAgs Live. Thanks, Obi. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studios. Time for our weekly conversation with Marty Smith here on TexAgs Live, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And they want to honor the military and first responders for all that you do from October 19th through November the 11th. They're showing their thanks with 10% off at your local Academy store and online at academy.com/discount. Exclusions do apply. With that, we go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. And there's our buddy, Marty Smith, here on the show from the SEC Network and ESPN. Marty, good morning, buddy.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man? I hope you had a great weekend. I don't know what you do during a bye week. Hopefully it was some time with your family. But the Aggies got a tough one this weekend, man.
Yeah.
Missouri's a good team, and Drink's a really good football coach. And they got some talent. Of course, Perbula is out, has that ankle injury, but man, that Zollers kid, he can really rip it. I was watching back at the Vanderbilt game a couple weeks back and how he managed that offense and what he was seeing, and of course leaning on Ahmad Hardy and the way they want to run the football, which they're certainly going to want to do this weekend. So A&M's going to have to be super gap sound and have great eye discipline per usual. And but it's going to be hard. I don't think that's going to be something where A&M just goes in there and just stomps all over them. It's a tough football team that Drink's put together.
Well, Marty, actually, I compared them to A&M the last few years, and what I mean by that, not many coaches, and I don't even know if Saban could do this, but when you're on your second and your third string quarterback can have sustained success at the end of a season in the SEC and make a playoff run. That being said, you can have a game or two, and without a lot of film on Matt Zollers, who, by the way, is 18 years old, yes, he can rip it, but there's not a lot of film on him, and that does kind of worry me, especially when you have Ahmad Hardy who gets them going.
It's interesting, too, brother. I was reading an article this morning. I wish I knew the publication so that I could give credit, but Zollers is a Pennsylvania kid and chose Missouri over Penn State. And there was an article written at one of the publications up in Pennsylvania near where he grew up about he came into the varsity program as a freshman, and his high school coach was quoted in the piece saying he never looked like a 15-year-old. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally while these 18-year-old seniors are running at him. He always had that poise. And we saw that against Vanderbilt as well. This will certainly be the most difficult test he's ever seen because A&M is so damn athletic on the defensive side of the ball. They got dudes with bad intentions, you know, wearing 9 and 21, and they just got some really NFL-level players. So this will be his most difficult task, and Missouri's going to have to be really unconventional in ways in order to get chunk yardage, I think. And Drink has that ability. He and his staff have that ability to use their perimeter guys, whether that's even in the Wildcats sometimes. They'll throw a different look and get chunk yardage that way. And I think they'll have to do that because, again, A&M's just so athletic defensively.
What do you read into A&M's record against teams in the SEC? Because I've seen a lot of folks on social media talk about A&M has beat teams that are 6-20 in the SEC.
Come on, man. They're 8-0. They're undefeated. I can't imagine. I don't know who those some people are on social media, but whoever they are, they're trying too damn hard. I don't care who you're playing in the SEC. Even teams like Auburn that just fired their head coach. They're 10, 12, 15 plays from not firing their head coach against really good teams. Against Oklahoma and again, get to like, I don't know, man. I just feel like that kind of nitpicky, I almost said a bad word, that kind of nitpicky stuff, you're just trying too hard. The league is really, really hard. It's really physical. It's hard to stay healthy. It's hard to stay disciplined to the point where you get to 8-0. And when the rankings come out, they're going to be third in the country. Or maybe fourth. I don't know. I would imagine it's going to be Ohio State, Indiana, and then Alabama and A&M, depending on what the committee's feeling. I'd go A&M just because they're undefeated. And they've earned it. But Alabama's really good too, man. Yeah, that FSU loss looks bad, but look who Alabama's beat since then. It doesn't look that bad. So, people try too hard, man. People trying to figure out what to talk about, I guess.
Well, let me ask you this then. I actually asked Olin a little while ago, and not to put you on the spot, who's got the best win in college football this year? Because you mentioned Alabama. They've beaten Georgia. They've beaten Vandy.
That's probably it to me. Because Georgia has proven itself to be this team that takes a lot of punches, but they always punch back in the second half, and they're a second half team, and they're a very good team. And so off top of mind, I would say it's probably that one. Georgia's going to be a formidable out for whomever it is. And so it would probably be that one. A&M going to Death Valley and winning, especially the way they performed in the second half, incredibly impressive. And I don't want to take anything away from it just because BK got fired in the aftermath of that game. LSU was wounded. They had a lot of injuries, including to Garrett Nussmeier, who's been playing hurt all year long. But that was a very impressive win in a very hard environment. And so I would still give it to Alabama against Georgia.
Do you look at injuries? Look, I guess let me give you a little bit more context. Last season when A&M started losing, my mind went to, well, this team was good, but they couldn't withstand losing Le'Veon Moss, right? And their defense wasn't good enough.
This year.
And they have this year. So I guess back to that point with injuries, the goal in the offseason is to put yourself in a position that you can withstand major injuries, something that A&M's been hit by the last few years. They're hit by it again this year, but they're able to withstand it.
It's hard, man. The league is so physical. I don't care who you're playing. There's dudes on every roster. And the speed, the velocity, and the size all combine to this physical nightmare for coaches trying to manage rosters and find that depth through recruiting and in the portal that is ready to play right now, and convince a young man in the portal, hey, you may not be a starter, but we're going to need you. You're going to get the opportunity to compete for a starting position, but if you don't get it, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, because we got to keep rolling people in. And it's week after week after week after week. It's unrelenting. And so I don't think there's any specific way to, quote, stay healthy, but those who are fortunate enough to do it, it is such a blessing in the league, because one guy goes down, like a pivotal player goes down, and everything, all that promise, I don't envy it. I mean, you look at the teams right now, I expect A&M, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, all to be top 10, and potentially 3 of those 4 top 5. The argument could be made, all right? And so as long as those teams can stay healthy and manage that, all of them are going to have a chance to do something very special this year. But if one of those key guys goes down, and I'm not going to start like throwing out hypothetical names, I don't want to put that on anybody, but it's just so important, and it's hard to maintain, man.
Talking to Marty Smith here on TexAgs Live on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Marty, how do you look at what happened in Austin and how you look at both Texas and Vanderbilt, what this means for them, you know, the way you look at them now and the way you look at them the rest of the season?
I personally see a different Texas team right now. I said before the Vanderbilt game, to me, that game hinged on which Texas defense showed up. If that Texas defense that flew around like its hair was on fire against Oklahoma shows up, that team is a problem. And that's what we saw. And then I kept trying to tell everybody when Texas was rolling, I'm like, do not count Diego Pavia out. Don't do it. You're foolish to count that kid out. And wow, what a finish. Incredible football game. The atmosphere was awesome. We were there in Austin. And I'm starting to see a real growth and maturation from Arch Manning. Understanding, confidence. He comes back from that concussion and had a really good football game. And so we have this thing, the All-State Playoff Predictor, right? It's the computers that are way smarter than any of us. And while that game in Austin wasn't, quote unquote, an elimination game, it went a long way. So Vanderbilt's road is tough now. Texas ain't easy. I mean, they still, they're hosting you guys on Thanksgiving weekend or November 28th, I think it is, something like that. that thing, whew, as we sit here right now, that thing's an absolute heat-seeking missile. It's going to be wild in that place between two great football teams, again, as long as they can stay healthy and continue to perform at this level that has become the standard at both places. But I like what I saw out of Texas. I still I just marvel at what Clark Lee's been able to do at Vandy. But look, Candace is going to have to pay Clark, man. Period. He makes $3.7 million. Lowest in the league, 57th, I think, in the country. With everything that's going on and the way he's built Vanderbilt, you know he's going to be coveted. There's a lot of really good jobs open with a lot of money and resources. And so she's going to have to pay him.
I don't know if confused is the right word, but I'm trying to wrap my head around all these openings and what the SEC is going to look like in a year, because
I don't know.
It's like, and there's still maybe other openings.
Yep. Again, it depends on like who decides what, how the chessboard continues to evolve within the mind game that is all of this. And when so many of these coaches that are in this narrative because of what they've built at their current institutions, whether that's Drinkwitz, whether that's Lee, whomever that is, they're going to be coveted. And if I'm not mistaken, both of those guys are Sexton guys. For those of you who are watching, Jimmy Sexton is agent to the Stars. And so this is a heck of a time. I mean, when you have all of these jobs that are open right now that are such tremendous brands with such unbelievable resources. I mean, let's take a quick right-hand turn. Even Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just committed $250 million to football. So now they're going to have money to use to acquire talent, David, in a league that has a way easier path than anybody in the SEC or the Big Ten. And so, I don't know how to explain it. We had Chris Del Conte on, McGee and I did, on Saturday morning on Marty and McGee. I know most of y'all were watching Game Day. We got to change that, y'all. But I asked him that question, why are we here? And it's that confluence of all of these variables that mean that patience is no more. There isn't patience anymore. And so I can't explain it. I mean, it's crazy. And the buyout numbers. If Billy called you today and said, "Hey, Bubba, I'm going to give you $8 million to go home."
Deuces. Marty, I think also you bring up an interesting point that, like, what we think of old school of what a good job is, now we can look at differently, because if Vanderbilt's got some resources that we didn't expect, and this school's got that, and the path to the playoffs in the ACC is, it could be slim, but if you have these resources and you can win easier than it was when you were in the SEC, it's not as easy as LSU's the best job and Auburn's a great job and Florida's. It's now, there's a lot more that goes into it than I think a few years ago.
It's a context is important too, and I won't go on the same soliloquy that I did on Marty and McGee and Feinbaum this past weekend, specifically about Lane Kiffin. But the synopsis of my point is Florida's an incredible place with a unbelievable talent on the roster right now and a fan base that's starved to return to competitive relevance both in the conference and in the national scope. LSU, you look at it on top 3 job, but no president right now, no AD right now, and every coach will tell you that synergy from the administration at the top through the athletic administration to the coaching staff is imperative. All right? Well, Lane Kiffin has built a playoff team in Ole Miss with really good talent. He's winning a lot. And he has peace. He's found himself in Oxford, Mississippi. The best version of himself. He said to Pat McAfee on the record, David, it ain't about money for me. I think he makes $9 million now. If Florida or LSU or whomever offered him 13 and a half, 14, does that appreciably change his life? Maybe. But he said it ain't about money. And plus, now that he's the prettiest girl at the dance, he'll get a raise at Ole Miss anyway. You can't put a price tag on peace. And so I don't know what it comes down to in this decision for Lane. I don't. But I know that he has, and I mean, he put it on Twitter yesterday, like how much he appreciated the commentary. So I don't know what his decision is going to be, but man, has he become whole as a man in Oxford. And man, is that precious. Like, that's special.
Marty, last thing for you. What do you think this bye week does for an LSU team scrambling with their staff, their players, their health, and also with Alabama looming?
I don't know, but I think probably it's, you can go one of two ways, right? You can either come together as a brotherhood and play for the brand, play for each other, or it can fracture. So it's really at the player level. All right, guys, like what do we want to do here? Can we band together? Can we go win out? Can we stay unified? And I've never been in those young people's position. I've said this to you before. We tend to, in our jobs and as fans of various programs, we tend to look at players as assets, but they're human beings. And they have stuff going on in their own lives. And now their head coach has been fired and their athletic director has been fired, and it's chaos all around them. And there's a lot of emotion that comes with that. And they're 18, 19, 20-year-old young men. And so that's not easy. It's a lot harder than just, oh, okay, my coach is gone. So my hope for all of them is that they do galvanize that way, and I think they will. There's some really good leaders on that team who've been frustrated, especially in the aftermath of that A&M game. So my hope for them is that that's what happens.
Marty, you're the best, man. Thanks for making a few minutes for us.
Always appreciate you, brother. Y'all have a great week.
You too. Marty Smith there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Open segment. Then Billy Liucci will join us in the studio for the remainder of the show. As a reminder, Bucky McMillan will be on the show today at 10:35. Looking forward to chatting with Bucky about their debut. They're starting tonight against Northwestern State. Right now, Milliken Reserve time, farm-to-table community in College Station. If you haven't been there, you're missing out, guys. It's a great place to go just live, hang out, you name it. Their mission is to build a healthy community around nature. And there's nothing like doing stuff in the outdoors with your family. It is the most bonding experience that there is out there. You can go grilling, you can go biking, you can go hiking, kayaking, you name it. You can just connect with your family and with nature when you go to Milliken Reserve. It is a wonderful place to go hang out. 2,600 acres of open space, 30 miles of trails. They got farms, they got homes. They got it all with an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape. And that includes walking and equestrian paths, you name it. They got it all, from the canoeing, the kayaking, the equestrian trails. They've got music festivals, I should say. And when you go there, the neighborhoods are amazing. So if you're looking to live, they got great neighborhoods for you. If you just want to hang out outdoors, you can do that as well. They've got the creek, the hollow, the meadows. Check them out, millikenreserve.com. That website again, millikenreserve.com. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in here on hour number 2. Billy should join us in a few minutes. So I did a little research this weekend on Matt Zollers. I've watched some of the highlights. Again, he hasn't played that much, but what folks are saying about him, and of course, usually when media are reporting back on up-and-coming guys, it might be with a favorable spin because of what they've seen from a young man in camp. So I kind of went through Matt Zoller's scouting report through several articles and some of the highlights and what people are saying about him. So I'll just report back. They said that if you watch him in extended action there against Vanderbilt, he showed that he had remarkable poise and it wasn't too big for the moment. And if you remember what OB said, that was what they said about Marcel Reed when he was thrust into action. He was not too big for the moment. He came in that Texas Bowl game when Jalen Henderson went down on the second play, and then the rest is somewhat history. It was a little checkered start and stop for him because he got in when Connor got hurt, and then Connor got the job back, and then he came in and took over. So there's things to consider there. But he converted several crucial fourth downs, including a 4th and 4 with a 15-yard completion, a 4th and 10 with a 14-yard completion. He also led a 12-play, 75-yard scoring drive to tie the game after Vandy had taken the lead. He was 14 of 23, 138 yards, a touchdown in less than a half of action. And he had that almost Hail Mary play to Kevin Coleman Jr. that caught the ball just short of the goal line, which was kind of at the time, it's like, no, that's not a touchdown. But then you had to go back and watch it. And they said that they noticed his arm talent all throughout camp, so they weren't surprised about that. And, he was thrust because they had injuries, right? It's not just Prabula going down. I forget his name at the moment, that the backup went down very early in the season as well. So there's that. So they've been trusting him for quite a while as an 18-year-old true freshman getting an opportunity to play. Some of the bad was reported back was he's only thrown 6 passes this season before the Vanderbilt game, and usually in this cleanup duty. His previous experience came against Central Arkansas and in practice, so this will be his first collegiate start, obviously against the biggest and best defense that he has faced so far. So preseason observations were that he struggled against the 13 defenses, but then looked good against Vanderbilt. So there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And sometimes he overreacts to pressure, especially they noticed that during the Vanderbilt game. Some of the other things to consider, he botched the handoff on a mesh read with Jamal Roberts. And he also, Vanderbilt converted the turnover ratio into 7 points in that game during the 2-minute warning. And also, his decision-making during situations under duress was interesting to say the least. A&M, I don't know where they rank now after this last week of college football with sacks, but obviously, if not number one in that mix. So consider that. So the takeaway is he's got high upside with legitimate arm talent, but he is extremely inexperienced. So what does A&M do on the road to follow up a road victory at LSU where they just knocked the doors off, right? Then both teams get a bye week. Can they take that and get their 9th win, in the first week of November? So that, considering the way November went last year, a huge game for Texas A&M. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ella Ryan, I know we've gotten some messages.
Yes, we have. But going off of that, during Marty Smith, there were a few people who said, is it weird that I'm not worried about Mizzou? And then people agreed saying they think it's going to be a 2-score game. We're at least going to win by 10. So it begs the question, is it weird that they're not worried?
The way A&M has played this year makes you feel like they will take care of business. Now, I know that we got a Longhorn that listens to the show, but unfortunately the Texas Authority has blocked him. I don't know how the Texas Authority knows that, but we have a thing called the Global Texas Authority that blocks people. I have nothing to do with it. But Robert, the Longhorn fan, likes to bring up topics from earlier in the show, but he didn't listen to that we've already discussed. And Robert, the Longhorn fan, says the Aggies' SEC opponents are currently 6-20 in conference play. All of their opponents have played to a date with a losing record. Just an unbelievable favorable SEC schedule for A&M. Okay, cool, bro. Now, why don't you add Notre Dame to that? I'm waiting for you to do the math. Okay, just do that for me. As Marty Smith said earlier, Robert the loser that listens to shows, I would never listen to a Longhorn show. I wouldn't. I just not in the morning, maybe after a loss. Sure, I've never done it, but I understand, right? Or hey, I wonder what they're saying. But just to troll, you've got to be an old loser to do that. Like a really old, no friends loser. That being said, A&M is playing the schedule that's in front of them. Who has Ohio State beat this year? Ohio State beat Texas, and I think Texas is a good team. I give them their props. I think they're a team that's looking better as the season goes on. I thought a couple weeks ago, the way they almost lost the Kentucky game and the way they were getting trounced to Mississippi State, I thought their season could have gone a real bad spot. But they weathered the storm, and they got their biggest win of the year against Vanderbilt. So props to them for doing that. But all these teams, you can poke holes in their resume. Absolutely, you can poke holes in the resume. And that's the thing, is can you be at your best throughout a season, even against some of these teams that are... I'm sorry to say that Auburn, yes, they just fired Hugh Freeze. You look at their losses this year, they're a play or two away. Not this past weekend, but you look, they're a play or two away from winning these games. That was A&M a couple years ago. A&M used to find ways to lose these games. Now they're finding ways to win the games. So that all being said, win the games that are in front of you, and get invited to the party. Once you're invited to the party, let's see how things go. And they're pretty close to being invited to that party, but they're not there yet. They've got a lot of work to do, and you've heard it from the very beginning. Finish. That's what Mike Elko's been talking about. This team needs to finish not only games, they got to finish the season. And hopefully they're just at the midway point. Hopefully just at the midway point. Ella, one more.
Okay, this is from our premium chat. They said, serious question, is A&M having this level of success 2 years removed from pulling the trigger on firing Jimbo, playing into all these other teams opting to fire their head coach?
Yes.
MK?
Yes. Now, I think every situation is unique, right? Like, I don't know the inner workings of LSU. I mean, a lot's been reported, and we've seen, a lot listed with the governor being involved, Governor Landry and whatnot. But, yeah, I think you live in a world where if things work for others, you're going to try it yourself. Hey, this guy had success here doing this kind of offense. Let's try it. This guy's done this. This school did that. So, yes, it all plays a role. Could you imagine if it hadn't worked with Elko, what people would be saying, right? So you got to be careful, or had, Brian Kelly turned the season around. So, yes, I think it's an absolute somewhat of a reaction, and also a reaction to where we are with the college football playoffs, that you better be one of these top 12 teams if you're paying your coach X amount of dollars. You better be one of those top 12 teams. All right, we'll hit a break. I think on the other side, we'll have Billy Liucci in studio. I believe so. He'll text me if not. Right now, when it comes to preserving your farm or your ranch's legacy, it's not just about capturing pretty pictures. It's about the new farm and ranch films that Chance McClain and his company have started, right? Like, instead of just having pictures and hearing stories about it, like back in the day, why not have it actually captured in a documentary form that can tell the story about your land? And that's what Chance McClain does better than anybody out there. He's an artist, he's a storyteller, but he's a good old boy, and he loves Texas A&M, and he loves telling Aggie stories. So if you are somebody who has got a grandfather that you love, come on, you love your grandpa, right? Have him tell his story. You got a grandmother you love, you got a dad, an uncle, whatever. You got family, you know someone. Have a documentary done about that. If you just know one person, that person should get a documentary done. 2-hour documentary is done by Chance McClain and his team. What you need to do is go to yourheritagefilm.com. Yourheritagefilm.com. Call them up, 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films. rumor has it that Billy Liucci is in the office, so we should get him here in studio at some point this week. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and we're going to just keep tap dancing and talking college football. If you guys want to call in, probably your best bet to call in right now, 979-693-1150. We'll pick it up on the Bubby's Catering and Bartending hotline. Nick, can we hint without actually saying something that Josh and the team have worked on? Maybe, I mean, we've got different ways to make this studio look cool. That's all I'm saying. Like, how do we hint at that without like saying it completely? Unless we should say it completely. I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
It's to me, it's like it's not really a secret. It doesn't have to really be a secret.
You don't think it should?
It's versatility. Let's see. Who's the most versatile Aggie football player on the team this year? Terry Bussey?
Yeah, Bussey's pretty versatile. Yeah.
Just say our studio's like Terry Bussey. We're versatile. We can do multiple things. Or you could say Craver or Concepcion because they run the ball, they catch the ball, they return the ball.
Yeah. So like basically this studio's become a Swiss Army knife of studios, right? So for instance, let's play a game, Nick, and I don't even know if this is possible. I'm trying it live on air.
Okay.
If I wanted to, I don't know if I can do this. So tell me no if I can't.
Okay.
Could I if I wanted to snap my fingers and change the background, could I?
Yeah, give me like 2 seconds.
I mean, no, but it's me who has to do it.
You do
Fine,
it.
Let's see.
Whoa.
Okay, it works.
Yeah,
right?
That's pretty cool.
Is that what you mean by versatility?
Piece of it,
And
yeah.
can I try it again, by the way? I'm going to this time clap to see.
Yeah, go for it.
Ready?
Wow.
Did it change?
It did.
I can't really tell from there. Okay, it changed. If you're looking from far away, it's not as noticeable as it is if you turn around and look at it. But yes, at some point this week, we believe that we could do one of these, and it'll look different, right?
Correct.
Thanks for adding to the
yeah,
dialogue.
so, dude, I'm doing like 15 things at once.
I'm just tap dancing. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. All right, Ella, I know some people have some points about people. So let's get into the thoughts from the humans.
People have some points about people. Right now, that person is Le'Veon Moss. A lot of people are wondering about his health and when is the right time to start playing him. Do you give him carries against Samford, South Carolina? Just when is it right to get him back in?
TBD. And I hope you're in a position that you don't feel rushed to bring him back. Mm-hmm. Like you're just cruising along, right? And look, I think Billy has said on this show on a couple different occasions that like maybe December, right? So as long as you don't have to push fast forward in his development getting back is when you bring him back, right? Hopefully you're not in chaos where you feel like you have to.
Yeah.
The question was, and as I let you mic up, because I feel like the boss right now, how quickly can we see Le'Veon Moss back? When do we need to see him back for him to be at his absolute best? And my point was, whenever he's ready, right? Hopefully you're not in a position where you feel like you have to rush him back, that when he's ready to go, he comes back, whenever that may be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, by the way.
Hey, Billy Liucci.
David.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Well, you know why it is, right?
Because of my afro? I need a haircut?
No. That jacket. Shacket. Yeah, that's my point. That you just said it. You're stealing my look. I was at Broken Egg eating breakfast, and I look up on the TV.
You're stealing my look. You're wearing a hoodie.
And I was sitting there with someone, and I'm sitting there, and I go, wait a second, what's Nuño wearing? And they like turned, and they didn't understand like the joke.
It's not a joke.
And they were like,
it's a good look.
It looks like a. I go, no, what's he wearing? And we're looking at it. I go, he's trying to steal my look right now.
That's not your look.
That's my look. That is my look. Except I wouldn't have a TexAgs shirt. I'd have just a plain white T-shirt.
I don't own that many.
Anyone watching knows that's my look. So what are you going to do? Grow a bad goatee next?
What are you going to do? Shave your head and start doing jujitsu?
I'm not.
Because you're wearing a hoodie. I'm the hoodie guy on the show.
No, you're not.
I'm Mr. Country Music and Mr. Hoodie.
You're not country music. Oh, sorry. What?
What was that?
I said country music, my bleep. And Ella Ryan, with all her Alvin, Texas roots, knows no country music, which is a colossal disappointment. I have to have a conversation with certain people about that.
That was me in 1995 when I was a freshman in college and sophomore and junior and senior. Anyway, this was something I ordered from Duck Camp, and I'm very happy that I had it.
I like it.
It's a great look.
It's my look. But yeah,
so you're jealous that I make it look good.
I got a nice package of stuff I need to check. Maybe we'll match.
I hope that they didn't do that.
Wouldn't that be cute? No, with Le'Veon Moss, listen, if anyone's thinking you're expecting to see him back this weekend, I mean, I guess Elko could say otherwise. I am not expecting that at all. I kind of insinuated from the beginning that I thought the Texas game would be an interesting target, and I don't think that that's even guaranteed. Because like you said, sure, if he's back in time, you're not going to do it against Samford. It doesn't seem like there'd be any reason at all to do that. But if he's ready and can help you beat Texas in Austin, then you go do it. On the flip side, if you've played without him for several weeks and your offense is humming and your running backs are doing what they've been doing, and that game matters in terms of it's Texas and A&M, but it doesn't in terms of like if the Aggies are already locked into the SEC title game, then do you push him back or can you wait and try to win an SEC title? Or if it's on the fence, even then, do you wait and he doesn't have to play until December, 19th or whatever, or New Year's Eve weekend if you get a bye? Like all of these things will be factored in when they get to a point that they think he's ready. And I think it's the question is it Texas? Is it an SEC title game? And then if it's still like, man, we're going to this playoff and we could have a 100% healthier than he's been all year, Le'Veon Moss. It is kind of an interesting, but I think the timeline is he'll be. My thought is we'll see him in December, and if not, a week sooner. Again, there's no need to rush him. You are obviously better with him, but with the way Ruben's been playing, and you said EJ Smith against Arkansas, and then you saw Jamari Morrow against LSU. Amari Daniels is getting some quality touches. So I mean, you are in a situation where, look, your offense. How many points have they?
38.5 points per game.
Le'Veon got hurt in Florida, and then you played Arkansas. So you scored 34 when in the game he got hurt in early.
Right.
45 the next week and 49 the week after that. So it's a good situation. Unless the only way it's not is if you rush him back, which they're not going to do. So I'd say just pause it and we revisit that conversation later. Here's the exciting news. Texas A&M in a playoff or in Atlanta or whatever you want, the postseason, could have everything rolling and add arguably the best running back in the Southeastern Conference to the mix and healthy and rested. I mean, that's all. People won't be talking about that nationally because they just haven't really pieced that together yet. But imagine that. Imagine going and the Aggies either are hosting a playoff game or get in there and are a top 4 seed. And oh, by the way, like you thought they were good. Let me reintroduce you to a guy that's as talented as any back and on the field, not just talented, proven as any running back in this conference, and if not the country.
Well, I said earlier, hopefully you don't feel like you have to rush him back too. And then when you do bring him back, he doesn't have to do a lot of it initially, right? He can get 6 or 7 carries like we saw at the beginning of the year because Ruben's been so good and EJ's been so good and Morrow's been so good and Amari's been so good. So hopefully
and then there's a game along the way. Maybe they're playing they're playing Indiana or Alabama or somebody in the quarterfinals or semifinals, and it's like, okay, this is a 22 carry game for Le'Veon Moss, and you never know.
All right, let's hit a break here. We'll come back. I want to ask you how things have been with A&M being good on social media for you. Like it's kind of a different shoot.
It is.
So we'll talk about that. Let's talk about Rollo Insurance right now. You get a personal agent with a direct number, not a call center, not an automated phone system where you got to press 0 and talk to somebody and ask you to repeat yourself over. You get somebody's number and you can call them. I called Morgan the other day because I had some questions. The difference is real with Rollo Insurance, where you get a personal agent who gets to know your situation, whether it's home, auto, or business or ranch insurance. Start a relationship with expert who puts you first. Your agent becomes familiar with your unique situation. And when you need advice or you have a claim, you'll speak directly with someone who knows you by name. That's the Rollo difference. Visit them at rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO today. That's 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Billy, I've got breaking news from TexAgs Corporate. At the big building. Okay,
let's hear it.
A new subscriber subscription special. If you've never subscribed to TexAgs Premium before, you can get it right now for $1 for 1 month. So you can experiment with TexAgs for a month for $1.
Love it.
For details and to get started, go to texags.com/special. So you have to be a new subscriber. And let's say we've got a lot of our interviews that are behind a paywall. You can go check it out, and you get to see Billy's news. He always got great information. Our recruiting team with National Signing Day fast approaching, a month away. So a lot of great stuff you can get. So do it for 1 month, a 1 month special.
Do it. I think you'll love it. And like you said, this is the month. My gosh, all the potential out there by going 8-0, and this weekend's game is so big because you can really all but clinch a playoff berth. I mean, it doesn't lock you in at 10. We've been having this discussion the whole time, but the nature of A&M's 10, and I know everybody's going, well, now you're hearing a lot of stuff about, well, look who A&M's played because LSU has struggled, because Florida has struggled. So now it's like you're looking at the standings. You've played a lot of the bottom ones, but I'm just telling you, look at strength of record, you look at strength of schedule. You're going to add a road game against Missouri. You're going to add a road game against Texas to all of that. There might be an SEC team that doesn't get in at 10 this year, but I don't think it would be A&M if they get to their 10. So, and look, the reality is if you win this weekend, you're a considerable favorite, to be no worse, to be 11-0 going into Austin. Let's put it that way. And again, I'm not giving Texas more credit than they deserve. I will say they look like an improved football team, like that kind of had the light switch go off down 17 at Mississippi State. But we are exactly like 9 days removed, one game removed from them needing a miracle to beat Mississippi State. We're needing a miracle. Here's the deal: if Mississippi State, this is 9 days ago. This is not a month ago. If the Mississippi State defender doesn't late hit Arch Manning, they lose by 17 or 24 points, or minimum of 10. Like the game's over, and they might fall down by 24 points in the fourth quarter. So they were that close. So I'm not, getting one offensive lineman back and switching the guard and center. And look, Vandy couldn't tackle him, and that's how that game started, and that led to that game being out of hand, pretty one-sided, because they basically said, can you tackle our guys on the perimeter? We're going to throw them little screens and bubble passes to see if you can. I'm not faulting them for that. I don't fault Arch for – I fault those QBs that their whole stats the whole year come off of that.
Right.
If it's a given week and it's working, do it. Do it all day. We weren't complaining when A&M did that against UTSA the whole game. Not the whole game, but a ton of their yards game, because they couldn't tackle Craver and Concepcion. And you get them the ball in space. I'm all for that. But with that said, they couldn't tackle them. So what are you counting me down for?
Because the segment's over. It was a hard break.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, goodness. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. I'll get to that question I wanted to ask Billy. That and more. It's TexAgs Live. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the show, Billy Liucci, Lunch with Liucci here on the show. Billy, I've gone back and forth with Robert, the Longhorn fan, on Twitter. Not Twitter, on the text line. He loves to bring up A&M's record or the opponent's record that A&M has beat. And he's basically saying we're moving the goalposts for lack of a better word. All I'm saying is that last year y'all said UT, that's how he talks, schedule was easy, but they just played the same SEC schedule given to them. And what I have said to that was that we also gave Texas credit, in my opinion, at the end of the year for going into Kyle Field at the end of the year and their first night game of the entire SEC schedule on the road versus A&M and winning a couple playoff games. But the fact of the matter is they did have an easier schedule up until that point.
I think as it's turned out, yes, and yes. Like, yes, Texas fans, you had a very easy SEC schedule last year right up until you played A&M, and then beyond, it got super tough. Like, it was just like A&M's will if they make the playoffs this year and win, or good enough / fortunate enough to win a couple games. I wasn't wrong on any of that. I was 100% right, just like I've been about most of my. Just like I was about Arch Manning. You guys are all celebrating an improved Arch Manning. That's kind of how I said it would go, is it not? Struggle early on, a lot of losses on offense, too much attrition on that O-line for me to feel comfortable with them being ranked preseason number 1 with that offensive line protecting an inexperienced quarterback and losing your best receivers. I mean, my God, who was right there? Now I hear every person talking about and covering Texas Longhorn football saying, well, guys, we knew this was going to happen. You should. No, you didn't. You did not at no point. It took until a couple weeks ago before any of them even acknowledged that Texas A&M would be a very difficult game. I've said that all along, and that was considered and construed as me hating on them or whatever, which wasn't the case. I was not, I enjoy ruffling feathers and getting, I know when I say something, sometimes it's tongue in cheek. When it's serious, I mean what I say, and that was this last year when I'm talking about their schedule. But then they came into this house and beat A&M, who was ranked at the time. Then they went in and they beat, Clemson, Arizona State, and played Ohio State to the final minute. And Georgia in there, by the way, too, which went to overtime. So they earned their stripes. The difference was, and this is where Amanda and I got into the whole debate this weekend about do they count as ranked wins? And she's right in that, yes, they count. They count. What I'm saying is it's a moving target after the fact. So, like, Texas beating Michigan. So, Texas' schedule last year, they had Michigan and OU early before they played A&M. So, they got, like, this nice draw. And it turned like this favorable cake draw, which if you look at who A&M's beaten right now, and we'll get to that in a second, they haven't beaten nor are they playing any of the top SEC teams except Texas. So it's a lot like it. The big difference though was OU fell off a cliff last year. So that did not end up being a win that mattered at all. Michigan, while it was a top 10 win at the time, they finished 6-6 or 7-5. A&M went on the road and beat Notre Dame, which the Irish right now are trending towards 10-2 and quite possibly being a playoff team. Right. So that one's aging so much better, and it's going to be a huge feather in A&M's cap as this season, as this playoff thing starts to, come into focus. But while that was true about Texas last year, I would absolutely not sit here and say the same is not true for A&M this year, because Florida ended up very competitive, but bad. They have a bad record. Yep. We know the one team they beat that matters. They've lost every other game that matters. LSU, firing Brian Kelly, A&M beat Auburn. I thought that kind of is like that OU game. You thought Auburn might be pretty good this year. A lot of people did. Outside A&M, like around the SEC. They're not. It is wild. Fire Brian Kelly, fire Sam Pittman, fire Billy Napier, fire Hugh Freeze. 4 of the 5 SEC teams you've played have fired coaches. It's wild. But you watch the games and you see how impressive A&M's been in most of those victories, even in the ones where they're closer. Like
A&M dominated.
Dominant on the defensive side of the ball and dominated that game against Auburn, but they were within striking distance. Dominant on offense, unstoppable against Arkansas, kind of played with the lead the whole game. But those were close games, but at least there are parts of the team where you go, man, they were lights out.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of feel good every week leading up to now. But yeah, I'd be being completely hypocritical if I didn't say the schedules look very similar to like last year's Texas, this year's A&M. The big difference is this. The Aggies are the Notre Dame win. That is the massive difference. And I don't know what Texas played in terms of ranked teams during the year, but A&M's list of challenges were you at Notre Dame, a top 10 team, at LSU, a ranked team, at Missouri, a ranked team, and at Texas, presumably they're going to be ranked unless they lose to Georgia and Arkansas. I don't think they'll lose to the Hogs at home. So you're going to play, 4 ranked teams on the road? Now, probably none at home, which is wild, but you're going to play 4 ranked teams on the road. The flip side of that is how many of them will be ranked at season's end. It might just be
Notre Dame.
It might be 2. Texas could be. If Texas loses to Georgia and A&M, I still think they'd be top 25 by the end of the year. But point being, you're right if you're trying to say, hey, A&M's had a cush SEC schedule so far.
It didn't seem
It didn't seem like it, no.
But things change. And I look at things.
But it has been like, it's better than the alternative. So you look at those lists of teams, right? And the only ones, so you thought LSU and Florida and maybe Auburn could be like certainly top half teams this year, and they're not. And so when you look at it right now, who in the top half do you play? And it's only Texas. You don't have Georgia, you don't have Ole Miss, you don't have Tennessee, you don't have Alabama, and you don't even have OU, who somebody's going to finish up there, whether it's OU. You don't even have Vandy.
Yeah.
So, in fairness, like, yeah, that's fine. I'll take, like, I'm not worried about it, and I don't get offended by what anyone says like everyone else did. Like people were all year last year. It's not, I don't take offense to it because I can look at it factually and go, hey, I'm not apologizing for it. A&M's sitting at 8-0. They've won in Death Valley. They won in South Bend. They got a couple of these coaches directly fired by beating them. They did what the same fans chirping team could not do, which is beat Florida, and they beat them by 17 points. They beat Mississippi State team that group needed a miracle to beat, and they beat them by, 23, 24 points. So 22, I guess. But
Billy, I'm a believer.
It's not going to affect, we're going to see tomorrow night, and I don't think it's going to affect their seeding because I think it is actually a tougher schedule and strength of record per the metrics than what people think.
Billy, I'm a big believer that a win is a snapshot in time.
Yeah.
So when you play them, so for instance, this weekend A&M going to Missouri, snapshot in this time is, yes, they're a ranked team, but I also recognize they're on their third string quarterback. Does not mean the third string quarterback can't beat you. I'm not saying that at all.
Yep.
But you're getting kind of a break visually against Missouri. But when you played a desperate Florida team, when you played a desperate Auburn team, when you played Arkansas, yes, I recognize they're bad. But when you play them and it's Bobby Petrino's first home game and that offense does, and we also know how good Taylor Green is, and that's if there's A&M's defense has had an issue, it's been mobile quarterbacks, right? So you put that all, I look at it as the snapshot in time, not what it turns out to be. We can do that at the end of the year, but if A&M keeps stacking wins, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And the real thing is if you're watching this football team and you're watching other football teams, where do you see them? And I think most people, it doesn't mean like you're wrong. I saw people were piling on, I don't know if it was Ketchum or somebody, I think it was Ketchum on our boards, and they were saying he ranked A&M 7 and Texas 8. So, of course, he's got A&M lower. Now, I've known him and his work for a long time. If he thought A&M was number one, he would put A&M number one. He would do it just also from the standpoint of the shock value that would get. He thinks they're 7. I think he's wrong, and I think most of the country that covers college football, that doesn't mean someone else's opinion can't be, but most of the country right now, I think would tell you A&M's a top 4 team. And one of the 4 they'll have in that conversation is Bama. I'm sorry. I hope A&M gets a chance to play them because that would mean they meet them in the SEC Championship or probably at least a round deep in the playoff. But I think what I watch on Saturdays and position by position and phases of the game, I like A&M better. And again, I'm not the only one. This is not the Aggie in me saying that. I watched them closely this year. There are some flaws there. Their O-line is not, I don't think it's nearly as good as A&M's. Their running game doesn't wow me at all. Both teams have 2 great receivers. Both teams have a Heisman contending quarterback. They're different looking in how they get it done. But they both have a Heisman contender at QB. And then defensively, I think it's fairly similar. Like if you just watch the games and go, okay, those are two defenses that look great at times, and then sometimes some opponents have gotten to them a little bit. And you kind of scratch your head and go, what happened this week? So again, like most people watching this are putting A&M in their top 3 or 4 based on what they've watched and the results on that schedule. And look, again, I go back to things like Notre Dame. Notre Dame beating USC was a big damn deal because they're likely to, roll to 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
Now the playoff gets interesting if it's a 10-2 Miami. That's the most fascinating one to me is a 10-2 Miami and a 10-2 Notre Dame. So I said this week the ACC just became a 1-bid league after Georgia Tech lost, after Miami lost. It might be a 2-bid league if the winner of the ACC gets in and Miami, but that would probably be at the expense of Notre Dame. So I think, what's he saying?
He said the graphic is based on the AP poll.
Okay.
Set up right now.
Okay. So, and who's he got in there? Notre Dame?
He's got
Notre Dame over Miami.
Yeah, Notre Dame. It's not he. Yeah, he's just basing it on the way they have it. But Notre Dame versus Ole Miss.
So, but my thing is when it comes down to picking, I think you just say it's 2 teams between the ACC and Notre Dame. I don't think it's 3. I think what just happened is it's either 2 ACC and no Notre Dame, meaning Miami, or it's Notre Dame and the ACC champ. Because think about, and this is if Miami wins out and Notre Dame wins out. How crazy a situation is it when you're going to go, Notre Dame's won 10 in a row. They look so much better than Miami, who lost to SMU, who lost to Louisville, and Beck threw 5 picks or whatever it was, 4 or 5 picks. Notre Dame looks like they're up here. Jeremiah Love, CJ Carr looks really good. They played for the Natty last year. They're rolling, and they're Notre Dame. Miami is struggling. They played nobody since they started conference. They didn't even have to play Georgia Tech. They played Louisville and lost. So, but then you go, Miami beat them head-to-head. But then you go, well, they beat them on a last-second field goal in August, and we are in December making this decision. But they beat them. So that's the most fascinating question is, does every game really count? Because that was August versus December, but you beat them. And can we say, hey, Notre Dame, I'm sorry, that was your playoff game. But that was Miami's play-in game. We just didn't know it at the time.
So the follow-up to that would be, what's Miami's best win? It'd be Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
What's Notre Dame's best win? Is it USC?
It'd probably be USC, who, they better hope USC keeps coming.
But knowing that Notre Dame is Notre Dame, some people would vote for Notre Dame in that situation just because.
I agree with that. So that's what.
And Cristobal may make it easy for you. He may lose another one.
Yeah, I haven't really looked at their schedule, but of course he might. Of course he might. Mario Cristobal is not above doing that.
He's got Syracuse this weekend,
They're
NC
pretty bad.
State, Va Tech, and at Pitt.
Yeah, he could lose. Where's NC State and Pitt?
NC State, they're hosting NC State. Pitt is on the road.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They could absolutely.
And what would happen to them if they lost in the ACC championship game?
Miami? I don't think they're going to get there. Go look at those standings. There's a hell of a lot of teams ahead of them, and one of them's already beaten them. So, or two of them, SMU and
Virginia is 5-0 in the conference.
Yeah, Miami's already got 2 conference losses. I just don't see it. Look at all the teams ahead.
Georgia Tech is 5-1. Pittsburgh is 5-1.
Yep.
Louisville's 4-1.
Yep.
SMU's 4-1.
And Louisville and SMU beat them, and so they've essentially got
and Duke is 4-1. Miami's 2-2 in the conference. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're going to have. If you gave me odds on all of this, I would say I would take Pitt to beat Miami at Pitt.
So if they're 10-2, they still might be the 3rd best team in the conference, right? So would they jump over another one of those teams?
Yeah, probably, because one of those teams playing for the ACC title will lose a whole nother game. It'd be unfortunate. But, I mean, I think we're over talking it. I think the ACC is getting 1, and if they get 2, it's going to be because of Miami or because a lot of teams unexpectedly lose a lot of games.
All right, let's hit a break because we'll have another segment, then Bucky McMillan at 10:35. Right now, Daily Company, family-owned, licensed, and insured business that offers HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and generator services available to you 24/7. When it comes to HVAC, they'll take care of your thermostats, your refrigerant leaks, your furnace failures, and your seasonal tune-ups. Plumbing-wise, leak repairs, clogged drains, water heater installation, and maintenance to keep those pipes into top shape. Electrical wiring, outlet repairs, and upgrades for safety and efficiency. And on the generator side, repair, maintenance, and installation to ensure preparedness for power outages. They serve College Station, Houston, and Austin, of course, Bryan College Station. Upfront pricing with no surprises. Contact Daily Company, 979-260-2020. That's 979-260-2020. Or visit them online at godaily.com to experience the daily difference. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olsen wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. All right, Billy, I want to get to that question I asked because since I've been at TexAgs and your Twitter or your social media has been a lot more like you having to defend where we are and things. How has it now that like A&M seems like, because I know last year they were in a very similar position.
Yeah.
But it felt different. We got into it. Yeah.
Can we talk about the differences?
Yeah.
Real quick? Because I heard y'all talking, I was thinking about it the other day. And here's the difference, okay? First of all, it's just what you're watching. Everyone, it doesn't mean A&M's going to run the table, but everyone watching knows it's different. That's why fan excitement's where it's at. That's why the players are playing like they do. This is a more confident team. They're more comfortable in the offensive and defensive schemes. They are a locker room mentality is different than it's been. Anyone that sees these guys come on the shows with us, anyone that sees them in game, sees them on a show like The Pulse every week, you realize like how tight-knit the group is. If you pay attention and those things matter to you. If they don't, then you don't understand sports because that always matters. Mm-hmm. You look at the best A&M teams ever in any sport, and they've got that. You look at, Aggie baseball a couple of years ago. You look at 2012 Aggie football. You look at 98 Aggie football. You look at some of these A&M basketball teams over the years. It's the tightest knit. You look at Gary Blair's national championship basketball team. You know it when you see it, and you're seeing it with this team. So you didn't see that quite, not anything near to that level last year. You have an injury to Le'Veon Moss. There is enough around him on this offense where you can get by. Last year you couldn't. It was devastating because you have more experience. And by the way, that's also a difference. A tremendous amount of experience. The game changers at wide receiver goes without saying. You have a better pass rush than you had last year. There's so much different. And here's the biggest difference is 7-1. 7-1. You lost to Notre Dame versus at this point at 8-0. You went you're 3-0 on the road. Okay, last year you got bit on the road as soon as you had to you beat Florida. You won in Starkville, then you started losing. This is a road-tested team. They have a massive win under their belt against a legitimate top 10, one of the 10 best teams in college football. You went up there and won. You are way more explosive on offense. You are elite in a couple of categories on defense where you were elite in none last year. And you have a Heisman Trophy contending quarterback, whereas last year you were going, at this point in the season, you were literally just deciding, okay, we're going to roll with Marcel the rest of the way because you had been shuffling two quarterbacks because your original starter wasn't performing. So that is a long list. And then at the end of the day, too, this football team hasn't lost, period. They haven't lost a football game. That's a big difference, 8-0 and 7-1. If they were 7-1 this year with a loss to Notre Dame, we'd be excited about it, but there would still be a lot of questions like, okay, well, what's going to happen when they play somebody, really daunting, which last year was South Carolina and Texas.
And I'll add to that, the defense this year is making the adjustments they weren't making last year.
Yeah.
They struggled. I still maintain that
nothing was getting fixed. You could tell it wasn't getting better.
They couldn't tackle very good. They were giving up explosive plays. This year, sometimes that happens because that's football, by the way. And then they go to the lab, they figure something out, they stop the run in the second half. Yeah. They stop the big plays. So to me, it looks different like you started with, and they fixed a lot of the issues that popped up. Like last year, every game, oh man, against remember I'd say this and you'd be like, you do that against this team, you're going to lose. It doesn't always work that way, but that's part
in fairness, at this time a year ago was the most encouraged I was about the defense. Because in their 8th game, that second half against LSU, which was a much better offense last year than it was this year, they shut them down, 3 picks, and they whipped LSU's O-line up and down the field, which had a first-round top 5 pick at tackle and another high-round draft pick at tackle, and they just demolished them. And you're like, uh-oh. And then a week later, Le'Veon gets hurt. You don't have the horses to make up for that. Basantis was out, and you had a hole in your O-line. So, and then they just weren't they weren't mature enough or deep enough to handle the setbacks.
Yeah.
And they never got to where they weren't bad on defense. This team is good on defense. They have their moments where they're not playing good. They're good on defense, and they're very disruptive on defense, and they can win you games with their defense. None of those things were true last year. So it's night and day difference. And yeah, on social media, it's been interesting because you're still, people sometimes don't understand like the back and forth and the going at it, but you're never going to, I think people don't understand, like, if you think you're going to win on that medium with other fan bases, you're not. And they're not going to beat you either. No one's going to win. It just depends on what your team's doing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm gonna win, like this weekend notwithstanding, that was brutal. But you're gonna win when the team's winning. So I got the last laugh on LSU for now. And then LSU, if you lose to other teams later that are not even LSU, those fans are going to come back out of the woodwork. Right. And you're going to go like third grade, well, we beat you. They don't care. They just want to revel in your misery. Then they're going to hire a coach, and on the day they hire that coach, they're going to think they're going to win 3 national titles. So you never truly win. So like Texas, they were kind of, I'd say they were done for because they were the ones trashing. They were calling for, Arch's head and asking like, we wish they had Ewers back, and they were criticizing Sark and his play. That was like 10 days ago. Now they're all lining up saying A&M's scared to play them. So you just are never, you're literally never going to like win that battle. So you have to just understand it. And it goes the same for them too. Like they came in riding high, number 1, up until like this past Saturday.
Right.
Literally, it took them beating Vandy to get their swagger back and think they're going to, go beat everybody now. But they've had the preseason number 1, back-to-back playoff wins, playoff semifinals, and they've had a rough go of it so far. So you never stay on top, so you need to enjoy it when your team's playing good and kind of, give it back and kind of get a little payback for the L's you take along the way at 8-4. But yeah, it's fun to watch. To me, like, and I think A&M fans all agree with this, it's fun to watch the national media talk up A&M in such a way. And, honestly, social media is the place to do it. And we haven't gotten to enjoy that very much.
It's weird to enjoy it too. Like
but like to hear Nick Saban of all people sit there Saturday and say he thought the 2 best teams in college football were the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Texas A&M Aggies. And I agree with him. And if he would argue that Indiana's in there too, I would have agreed with that too. I don't want to. They don't play anybody. They've played one team that is ranked really high because they beat Penn State before Penn State went in the tank. And so Oregon's got their ranking based on that because they've played nobody. Indiana's played nobody except
that team who beat nobody.
Oregon, the team that beat nobody. But you watch football, and I watch Indiana, and I go,
they're pretty good.
I think they're right on them. And I also think they're right. I think Oregon's really good too. But my point is, that's why I don't care. Like, don't dare try to say anything about who A&M's played. Because I'm seeing what you guys are doing. And I'm also seeing what you guys are doing the rest of the way while A&M's got to go to Columbia. They got to face Lenora Sellers. And then more specifically, then they got to go to Austin. Yeah. So, yeah, that stuff doesn't matter to me, but it has definitely been fun and refreshing to watch everyone talk about A&M. It's been fun to have all these people from around the country that I've known for years that talk about A&M when there's like a coaching change or a firing or I had to talk about the 22 recruiting class and all the quarterback misfortune and 8-4 and 8-4 and 8-4. Like, so it is fun for those conversations to be not just in like a one-off game. This is fun like for the right now and for the future to hear what other people are saying and believing about Texas A&M football.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll talk Bucky ball on the other side. Right now, if your organization or business is looking for an opportunity to engage with Aggies, then you need to check out the Association of Former Students that bring Aggies of all ages together during their marquee events held throughout the year. We're talking Aggie Rain Day, All Aggie Hullabaloo, The Gathering. They all welcome tens of thousands of guests, and there are many sponsorship and vendor opportunities to get your brand in front of those attendees. And they offer a wide variety of both digital and in-person options to promote your brand, including title sponsorship, naming, on-site presence and activation and recognition in social media posts, and much, much more. There's advertising opportunities in so many different ways. If your business is ready to engage with the Aggies, choose a partner with the organization that's been supporting the Aggie Network for the last 140 years. For more information on options available through the association, please email sponsorships@aggienetwork.com. It is the Association of Former Students. Let's get right to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Right now, we're talking Bucky McMillan as the era tips off tonight at Reed Arena. That high-octane offense. We go to the line to go talk to Bucky Ball himself. Bucky McMillan joining us here on TexAgs Live. Bucky, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hear me? Doing good. Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us, and we're so excited about seeing tonight. Just for you, what are your emotions like here the morning of?
Like a kid the night before Christmas, right? Like that's what you feel like. First day of basketball season. It's a tournament sport, so we got a long season, but the first day is always a memorable one. So hopefully we get this thing started off right.
First day, Bucky, first game, first time everybody's going to really see you, at Reed Arena since that inaugural press conference. I know it's been a whirlwind for you, buddy, but talk to us about just where this program and this team is today versus when it got here and how fired up you are to finally let these guys get out on the court and play in your system.
I mean, we all know the circumstances, and I don't like rehashing it because it sounds like coach talk. Obviously, we didn't have any players in mid-April when we got here, and that was very atypical because most of the players kind of knew they went early this past season because of the house settlement. We were in a tough spot. Our program was not in a great spot. We had so many people rally together. Got a great staff on board. All the Aggies around here really helped. When we were recruiting, we went a perfect score on bringing guys in, and we had to.
Yeah.
Luch. I mean, if we didn't, we may not have fielded a team of 10 players. And we just really went to work quick, and we put a team together that as you see, I mean, call it what it is. They have it out there that we got a chance to get the NCAA tournament. We got a chance not to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you would have said that, would you take that in mid-April when 81 of the top 100 portal players had already gone somewhere and we didn't have anybody? We would have said, so we got a chance to get in the tournament, let's go. And I can say this team's going to have a chance. But every game's going to matter.
Yeah.
And in college basketball, because they rely on these net ratings, you can't just win sometimes. Sometimes you got to win by the maximum amount of points.
Yeah.
And so we're going to need to really fight this year, everybody together, like our backs are against the wall like they were in April, to try to fight and do what we got to do to try to fight to get that NCAA tournament. And if we do that, that's when the fun starts, because this is the type of team, because of their shooting ability, heck, they could be off nights and they could take some losses if we're not really locking up on defense, but they could also be on and they could knock off some really good teams. So that's what I feel about the group, and I'm looking forward to going on that journey.
And at the start of the journey, obviously everyone's so excited for Bucky Ball, and we, really a lot of fans salivating at the chance to watch it. How do you feel about, because it is such a unique style that you've cultivated there at Samford and really through your whole career, how do you feel about where the players are at in terms of adopting and just kind of excelling at that style of play versus, or is it just a thing that hey, I can be as confident as I want to be, but until we start playing games, we'll start to learn each time out how far along we are?
Yeah, great question. So what I would say is that they're further along than I thought they would be to be all new players.
Yeah.
And, to not have had our whole team ever practice together. Mm-hmm. Pop Isaacs has been out for a while, and Baco's been out, obviously. We've never had our whole group together, and they hadn't even had all our starters together to practice one time. So given that, I think they're, from what I've seen, better than I thought they would be. It never works out like it's supposed to. Sometimes it feels early, everybody, every team. I'm sure Coach Yelko would say the same thing, right? Start the season off, and it never works out exactly like you envision it. But we do have veterans. We do have depth. We can shoot. I'll say that tonight. We may make 10% of our threes tonight.
Yeah.
But we also may make 23 threes, right?
Yeah.
And that's this group. I think that they'll settle into the season as it goes along, Luch. You know how it is. Everybody's going to be so amped to play.
Yeah.
But I will say that our group enjoys how we play. It's not hard for me to get these guys to run. I recruited them on that, and they're into what we do, and that's what I enjoy doing this with them because, heck, they came here when we hadn't coached a game here. We didn't have a roster, a lot of them, and a lot of the reason they did come because they love Texas A&M, and we brought them in on those visits, and they also knew how we were going to play, and they were excited about that. So now they get to do it for the first time in front of the fans.
Okay, how do you manage this first week, though? Because, I mean, Northwestern State, Texas Southern, and Oklahoma State all within a 6-day period.
Yeah, it's a lot. It really is. It's kind of the schedule was kind of strange what happened with it all. We were going to be in the players era, and we're going to be back into that next year, the event in Vegas. And during the coaching change, it was actually the contract was with Buzz, so he's able to take it with him to Maryland. We'll be back into that next year. So when we were plugging this schedule together, we couldn't paint it exactly how we wanted to. So we're going to play here Monday, Thursday, and then Sunday's Oak State, correct? I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And and you look at Oak State, they beat Auburn in Birmingham. Their little exhibition, and so they've shown that they're dang sure capable, and it's a tough game over there. So, we got to use these first couple games, and, as this is practice as we go forward. And even the Oak State game is practice in a way that you're practicing to keep getting better and better for this conference play. Now, we know that we need to be successful in these games too, right? But have 3 games in a week, it's not easy, but you got to look at it like, hey, we got to be better in game 2 than we're in game 1. We got to be better in game 3 than we were in game 2. And if you do that, by the end of the season, you're going to be pretty dang good.
Two give us, and I know David, we'll ask, well, first of all, the injury situation. Are you encouraged with your two guys, Isaacson and Mbako, in terms of like their timeline? I know you've talked about it, but are they still kind of on that timeline? Are you encouraged with their progress?
Yeah, so Pop could see some action here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So he's progressing really nicely, and Baco's progressing nicely as well. So, his time frame's November, and we just don't know where. Could be late November, could be, around the 20th, could be a little later.
Yeah.
But the question is, for me, is not going to be their health. Their health is going to be fine once they're back, as long as there's not another injury. The concern is they just not all practice together. I mean, and you talk about that's 2 of your most highly recruited guys, and maybe you're probably your 2 highest if you're just looking at the NBA draft board and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That'd kind of be like football. If the football team got to practice all fall, but they didn't get to practice with Marcel Reed throwing on the ball, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's basketball's different. It's like an offensive line together.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just trying to, when everybody is back healthy, is just not that they're healthy, but just as our team functioning the way that they're going to be functioning, a couple weeks after they're back.
Yeah. Yep.
Bucky, last thing for me, just when you think about the way you've constructed this roster, I'm looking through it senior, sophomore, senior, freshman, senior, junior. Like, you have all these veterans on your team. Did it make maybe that transition with guys that understand what it's like at the college game, maybe this transition to get them up to speed for this season?
Yeah, no, it helps, man. We have an older group, and that I can't tell you how important that is in college basketball, because you're looking at the success of a lot of teams. They always say 3 things. Okay, you want to be old, you want to be deep, and you want to have continuity. Okay, you want to be old because they have old eyes, they have experience, they've seen it, they know what it's like, they can fight through the duration of the season. At this point, someone's told them they're not the greatest player ever. Right, some of these high school players have not been told that yet, and they don't understand.
Yeah,
you want to be deep because you're going to have to sustain injury. And in college basketball, the season's long. Guys are going to get tired. You need depth. Okay, we are old, and we have depth. You will see 10, 11 guys playing this game, and that's even with McKenzie out. We have depth, and then you want continuity. And that's the third piece. We don't have that yet. Like we just for obvious reasons, we only brought one player put on an Aggie jersey before. But that's what we have this time for. so that we can come together as a unit. This group, though, I will say, and you're always going to get the real from me, guys. I'm not that coach that doesn't keep it real. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, I tell you when we're doing good, tell you when we're doing bad, tell you when we got to grow. You'll always get that from me. Now, I see things in a positive light because I know where our program is headed long term, but you're going to get that from me. I'll say this: this group has really, when we all got here, weren't passing the ball great. Probably the shots they were taking weren't exactly what we were looking for. They have really, I hate to say bought in, because sometimes, they just, that's not the right term, but for lack of better words, they've all bought in to trying to play for each other. And sometimes in game one, you can be a little too excited, but this group passes the ball well, and they really understand that to win, it's going to take great team play, not just great individual play. And so that continuity may come together sooner than most teams if you had that many new players.
Bucky, I appreciate it, man. Good luck tonight. We'll be watching.
Looking forward to it, Bucky. See you tonight.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks,
Talk
buddy.
soon.
Thank you. Bucky McMillan.
I'm excited, man.
I am too.
The start of basketball season always sneaks up on me. I've literally been trying to get to practice this whole time. Haven't been out there. We've had Luke out there a lot, but just it sneaks up on me as busy as we are in football, especially in a season like this. I love the fact that they're playing this Monday night game. Get out there, and I'd say to any Aggie, get out there and support, because this is, and if you're an A&M student, this is your team. Like, you're going to love watching this team play, their style of play, and they have a chance to be really good. And again, I think it's going to be a process because of all the different pieces, and like he talked about the injuries, and it is an extreme different stylistically. It doesn't matter to what Buzz played because none of those guys are back.
Right.
But just for what a lot of these guys on this team have played. He's got one player, one of his guys from Samford came over, but the other guys, like, a lot of them have not played this style of basketball. And so there's a transition period for that. Then you're implementing, like you said, guys that haven't practiced. But when this thing comes together, I think it could look really good even this year. And I think fans are going to really embrace this style of play. And I think the student body is really going to, and they already have started to, but they'll realize that Bucky McMillan is like their coach. That's their guy.
All right, hit a break here. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're a business owner and you're looking to stock up on new vehicles, well, they're stocking up there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, and they're going to hook you up. They've just expanded their selection of all these commercial vehicles to meet your everyday needs. So whatever you're looking for, let them help you find that, because they've got the muscle for your business demands. And they are a business elite dealer, which means they understand what it takes to keep your company moving forward. And every commercial vehicle purchase comes with that legendary free oil change for life, because they believe in supporting local businesses, just like they support Aggie athletics. It's about a 15-minute drive the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. And we're back. I want to remind everybody about the new subscription special. If you've never subscribed to TexAgs Premium before, take advantage for $1 for 1 month. $1, 1 month. For details to get started, go to texags.com/special. I think you need to take advantage of this. Billy, 40 seconds left on the show. You made fun of me earlier
38,
for stealing your look.
35, 34.
Shannon on on Twitter just says, who wore it better, Billy or whoever this?
Was it a model?
It's a model. It's a good look.
Well, it's funny because I've actually, this is not really something to, this is not a brag that some will try to accuse me of, but I've seen Shannon Sharp wear this exact one, so not something to
Shannon Sharp.
But I do like, this is the most comfortable baggy hoodie. Ella can appreciate it. Luke Evangelist can appreciate it.
Bye. Josh Pate tomorrow.